What up, everybody, and welcome to Magic Mike
And the swag.
and the Swag. And we are just continuing our season preview of NBA teams, and today we are doing the Indiana Pacers.
Love it.
Right? So we're going to jump right into things. We've got a projected starting lineup of Darren Collison at point guard. They picked up Tyreke Evans.
Okay, I
Right?
like that.
Yeah, nice little off-season move. Just throw him into the starting mix. Right? Slide Victor Oladipo up to the small forward. Then you got Miles Turner and Sabonis. Right? Really looking to just pick up where they left off last season. It was kind of like a pleasant surprise after losing Paul George. Oladipo just came out like a blaze of glory and was just crushing it. Miles Turner just continues to elevate his game. Sabonis was a great piece that really solidifying things. It'll be interesting to see what Tyreke Evans will bring to the squad. They've got a few other pieces. Doug McDermott, hopefully he was struggling last season, but hopefully he can kind of find his place. You've got no one else really worth mentioning, I would say. But anyway, I don't know. How are you feeling on the Pacers this season?
You know what? I think bringing Tyreke Evans over, they want to do one thing. They want to score more.
Okay.
You've got Doug, who's a scorer, a shooter as well. Tyreek's a shooter.
Right.
You want some extra scoring. I mean, I think what it was Victor was carrying the team.
Right.
He put up great numbers, one most improved player. You want some scoring help.
Right.
Now, I think Turner's a great player. I think Collison moves the ball around well. It's not a defensive team. I think they're trying to step up the offensive side.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know.
For me, their big thing last year was energy. There was energy. There was hype. They were trying. Victor Oladipo was trying to prove that he was worth the trade. Everybody was just down on the Pacers. Didn't think they were going to do anything because Paul George was gone. So really, it was playing with a chip on their shoulder. Was something to prove, and I think that was one of the reasons they had such a great season last year. So can they find that same energy, keep that same chip on their shoulder, and continue their progress towards the promised land?
They definitely didn't get worse.
Okay.
They didn't get worse, but how much better they got, I think that's what we're going to find out.
Right. Now, we talked about in some of these other previews, there's definitely role players there. The system seems to be working with the pieces they have in place, but really what it comes down to is who are your stars and what can they do in the crunch time.
Absolutely.
Oladipo, I think, finally figured his stuff out, right? Again, he got drafted young and was showing glimpses of brilliance his whole career, but last year really kind of put everything in place. So again, assuming that he's just picking up where he left off last season, he's a great first star. And Miles Turner, I think he's just getting better and better and better. So you got these two young stars, again, in a depleted East because LeBron is now gone. I think right now their goal, what they should be striving for, is that 4th seed, right? Because they're not a championship team quite yet.
Yeah.
They definitely need to make some strides still. So, and it's just kind of like a tier by tier thing. And I think that the tier that they should be striving for is the 4th seed in the East. Can they get there? Obviously, Boston, Toronto, Philly, they're the favorites for the first 3 spots. But when you're competing against Milwaukee, Miami, the Wizards, I don't know, Detroit, maybe.
I would say you have to give them more of a chance to say they're probably more of the favorites than those mentioned.
Okay.
Now, I think their biggest competition is probably definitely Milwaukee.
Okay.
Now, I think Milwaukee is going to be better, and they're going to play the lights out. Like I said in what we discussed in the previous video with the Wizards, depending on the order of what you're watching, was Dwight Howard. I think Dwight Howard is a massive X factor.
Right.
So if we get like some vintage Dwight with John Wall and Bradley Beal with that squad, I think the Wizards can safely make the claim to that 4 spot because I think, in a series of 7, squaring up with Pacers, I think they can beat them.
Yeah.
Now, we don't know what the scoring of Tyreke Evans is going to add because, Tyreke Evans, dude can flat out ball.
Yeah, he's a stud. To me, he is a solid starter in this league. And again, he's versatile. He can do a little bit of everything, and he can score. I don't know if he's the X factor though. Like again, now it seems like you need to have a big 3, right? All the top teams tend to have at least 3 guys. I mean, you get teams like Boston and the Warriors that have like a whole lineup of stars, but you need at least a third player. And like you were talking about, Dwight can be the X factor. I don't know if Tyreke is enough to be that X factor again to compete with the Dwight Howards of the league. But I don't know. Is there a move out there? Maybe they can move some of these pieces. They've got Aaron Holiday, who's a nice young piece. They've got who else they got? I got the roster. TJ Leaf. You can move him again. Doug McDermott. There's the Bojan Bogdanovic. There's some hype behind him. Can you package a bunch of these young pieces and get, something for it?
I think you can, but once again, we'll see how the season progresses, and it becomes a buyer and sellers league.
Right.
Now we'll see what teams are killing it, have a chance for the championship based off how they play and their dynamics.
Right.
They're definitely going to be buyers. Now we'll have sellers, which,
Like, could they make a move, maybe package 3-4 of those guys for like a Kemba Walker? And just say, hey, you've kind of been displaced over the past couple of years. Your name's been on the trading block. Nobody really throws your name in elite company. No one's talking about pairing you up with any other star next season in whatever franchise. But if you can become our guy, it's you, Vic, and Miles Turner, we can turn this franchise into something. I almost like that pairing.
I think what they're missing, though, more so the point guard aspect, is the dominant big.
Okay.
Right?
Miles Turner? You don't think he's...
I like Miles Turner, but I'm saying in the 4 spot.
Okay. But Sabonis has been holding it down. Again, only one season.
It's not that he's a bad player. There's definitely, like, if you can go out and get, like, an Anthony Davis, that's going to take you over the top.
Right, but how are they going to get Anthony Davis?
I think they have some players that they could possibly trade for. Now, it becomes really interesting because these are all, like, theoreticals. Anthony Davis is fantastic.
Okay.
The dude's a beast.
Right.
What are the Pelicans willing to trade, to give up or want?
Do you think they have the assets? Because Anthony Davis has been linked with LA. He's been linked with the Celtics. Both those teams have better assets and more of them to offer for Anthony Davis.
But it might end up becoming a multi-team trade. Okay. And that's where it makes it really hard to say, hey, what about this trade?
Okay.
Because what happens if the Lakers jump ship and they, for some reason, want Holiday?
Okay.
And they dump in some picks to get, that trade through. It's just certain scenarios like that where I don't think directly the Pacers can straight up say, hey, we're going to give you blah, 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 blah. You give us Davis. Right. But I think if they can piggyback on another team and trade and do a multi-team trade, I think we could see something like that happening.
I think that's off the table. I think they could trade their whole team and every future first-round pick, and they're not getting Anthony Davis. I think the Pelicans...
Hey, well, we wanted a trade.
I get what you're saying. I'm thinking comments. We're going to get blasted and say, we could trade TJ Leaf for Anthony Davis.
No, you'd need to give up, probably Turner. You'd give up Leaf, probably Holiday.
Okay, so you're stripping the whole team, just trying to pair him up.
I mean, if we're talking about even trying to make the finals contention. Okay. Otherwise, once again, are you really going to be
big? I like that.
Well, I mean,
I like it.
The one thing I keep on saying that bugs me about the NBA is there's super teams. There's teams that are just literally going to win.
Right.
Whereas in football, you don't know. Tom Brady could go down. They're not a super team anymore.
What if maybe the Anthony Davis thing didn't happen? But what about maybe Hassan Whiteside, who's also been on the trading block?
I don't like Hassan Whiteside.
No, but if you trade a few of those young picks, not picks.
You might as well trade for Drummond then.
You bring in Whiteside. You can move Miles Turner to the 4 spot, who's kind of an athletic, 4, you bring Sabonis off the bench. Not your dude.
Honestly, it's so hard to make predictions on trade because we don't know what happens. Like, Collison could literally come out and have an MVP like type season.
Darren Collison?
Okay, obviously that's a reach, but an all-star type season.
Okay.
And we don't know.
Okay.
I mean, literally his team could... I mean, remember how you always bring up the point about Kevin Love that one year he had that, like, basically garbage time stuffing.
Right. And ever since, to Kevin Love's defense, he's not a 30-17 guy like he was in Minnesota for one season, but he's definitely a star. I mean, he's been good his whole career. I mean, even in high school, he had all the hype behind him. Kevin Love is a legitimate, player in this league.
I just don't see any trades right now that the Pacers could actually.
Could they bring in a Kevin Love?
Maybe.
I mean, when
it's we're at preseason right now, and we don't know.
Well, that's what this is about. This is the preview.
It's predicting.
We're supposed to get
then
the hype going.
Every single team, I could be like, they need Anthony Davis because every team could use Anthony Davis.
Right. I'm just talking about like a realistic thing that could potentially happen.
Yeah, but they. Oh man.
Sabonis, McDermott, Leaf, and Aaron Holiday for Kevin Love.
No.
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 I will say, man, dude, I feel like the Pacers' glaring need is more towards the bigs.
And we talked about it. Whiteside.
And that's what I'm saying. So
Kevin Love.
I think as the season plays out, we'll see who becomes a buyer and who becomes a seller.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I can't give you a potential trade for this team because truthfully, I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know. I mean, Cleveland may end up being the best team in the conference, and that would be wild. Right. But they're not going to be trading Kevin Love anytime soon.
Right. I don't think that's what they want to hear, though.
Oh, Cleveland?
No, just uncertainty.
I honestly am like, I don't know what the Pacers would trade for. I really don't know. This is like the one team I sincerely do not know.
All right. Well, there you have it. That's uncertainty. We don't know what the Pacers are capable of this season.
We don't know if they have assets to even trade for anything.
I think they have some assets, but Anyway, that's
a wrap.
That's our Pacers preview. I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe below for more hot takes from the Magic Man over here and
Swaggy P.
All right, peace.